Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of OPA to OPM podcast. I'm your host, Dave Mill, with my guest.
Everybody.
Excuse me, not with my guest. We're gonna start that on over.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're gonna start that one over.
Run that back.
We're gonna start that one over with my guest. Hey, welcome back to the OPA to OPM podcast. I'm your host, Dave Mill, with my co-hosts Alex and Kel. What's going on?
Yo, what it do?
All right, so today's episode is gonna be a little bit different. A lot different. One of our hosts got some shit to get off his chest.
It's about time.
Big Red from the 5 Heartbeats. He's in the building.
Big Red.
No, that was crazy.
Big Red. You never seen the 5 Heartbeats?
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking your black card.
Gracious.
That's that light skin shit.
Goodness gracious. All right, so we got one of our co-hosts got some shit to get off his chest. But it's going to be a little bit more edgier going forward because we're going to show up as our authentic selves. And we ain't trying to be all polished, professional, and all that. We're going to give good gems, but we're going to be ourselves. And so it may be some cursing, and it might be some vulgar words and all that.
It might be some shit going on.
It might be some shit going on, all right? But we do have guests today. I appreciate you. What's going on? Welcome back, Ron Curtis. What's going on, Ron?
What's up,
And I'm sorry. Introduce your guest. Introduce our guest. I'm sorry.
So this is none other than the only Jovan.
Jovan.
I fucked that up.
How you introducing the guest wrong and shit?
Hold on. We gonna
You gotta run that back.
Jovan.
We gonna be cool.
Keep it going.
We gonna cut all the unnecessary bullshit out.
Right.
So
I'm about to say
this
that's gonna be
guest
crazy.
right here, man. This dude has been able to do what is the American dream, right? Been able to get into corporate America, been able to run it up, get into investments, run that up, and then get to a point where he's now scaling something that is just tremendous. Jovan.
Appreciate you. Thanks, man.
What's going on, my guy? How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very great. Don't know what to expect today because, as I said,
Yeah. We're gonna see.
Man, what's in the cup?
A little Henny,
Get right.
okay.
A little bit, right.
I am gonna cut that out because fuck that. We ain't promoting. Like I said, we ain't promoting no brands though.
But no cognac.
Exactly. Until they put some money in our pocket, we ain't doing that. But thank you for Jovan. Like, what is it that you do? Like, what? Like, exactly. Like, what's your profession and how'd you get into it?
So right now I am a short-term rental operator.
Okay.
In the DC area. Just signed last week for my 10th property.
Wow.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
No, but hold on.
I know you got something.
Let me get the. You know what? I don't even know which one it is.
You about to press boo.
Sit back.
I forgot which one it is. Let me see.
Nigga, the colors ain't changed.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? There we go.
Nigga about to turn into a techno wizard.
Exactly, right?
The club's over now.
Fuck it. All right, but go ahead. 10th property.
I got my 10th property out here. Started November 2022.
Wow.
So just a little over a year.
Okay.
Before that, I was doing Toro, like everybody else. I did that for about a year, and car market was going crazy. So I just said, you know what, it's a good time to get out. So I sold all my cars in like June 2022, and then kind of pivoted over to Airbnb, and it's a lot of similarities between the two. So it was kind of a easy transition. For that, really just working for the man, bro. I was in the government for like 13 years.
Okay.
Just quit my job literally today.
Damn.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Press a button, nigga.
You know what?
Nigga wasn't physically taxed.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Get your air horn since you can.
But yeah, I was finally able to quit the job, bro, and now I'm trying to move to the next chapter, man.
That's dope.
Yes, sir.
Wait, how old are you now?
33. Well, turning 33 in a few months, May.
You said you are going to.
Said I'm going to turn 33 in May.
Nah. You said the word try, bro. We gotta take that out of our vocabulary.
Try for what?
whatever you just mentioned, you said you was gonna do next, bro.
Oh, try to run it up. I said.
Yeah. No,
No,
you
I
are
have
gonna run it
Honestly,
up.
I don't got a choice.
Oh, that's no choice.
And that's the part of quitting is like now I'm hitting the ground running. I don't have a safety net, you know. So I got no choice but to run it up.
Yo, that's dope that you took that chance.
Yeah,
like,
man.
yo, that's a lot. That's a lot with like a lot of us are trying to like entrepreneurs. We're all trying to reach that point where we can say, "Fuck this job." You feel me?
Yes.
And so that's dope. That's dope. So kind of like the same field that Ron that you are in, correct?
Yeah. So I do short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, and I specifically focus on co-hosting. And I have a full-time 9 to 5. I work for DC government overseeing contracts. And similar to Demille just said, my mentality be like, fuck these jobs. But at the same time, I look at them as my primary investor. No matter how hard I work or how hard I don't work, the check comes every 2 weeks, same amount of money. And I've been in the DC government since 2015, so going on to 10 years now. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And my goal is financial freedom. I want to be a digital nomad, travel the world, and make Wi-Fi money.
I was gonna say, what does that financial freedom means to you?
Living life on your own terms, like not having to wake up to an alarm clock, sitting in traffic, sitting in a cubicle that you hate, being there. I think the pandemic spoiled me. It gave me a taste of freedom and showed me what life is really supposed to be like. I work for DC government. They got us going back to the work 4 days out of 5. Right now, I'm going in 3. So it's just a matter of time, not an if, it's a when. And I'm just making sure I'm getting my systems and processes for my personal life in place before I make that jump, such as finances and budgeting, your health. That's more important than money, and that's what keeps a lot of people at their jobs. Having health insurance. But the way my mind works, if I got to pay $1,000 a month for a health insurance premium, all that is me managing one additional property. And if you look at your pay stubs right now, your health insurance is taking probably $800 to $900 a month out of your check anyway. So just coming to alignment, cutting out bad habits, start forming new ones, and so we can run it up.
And that's really that shit is that why go back into the office? Like, studies have really shown, like, productivity went up like a motherfucker when everybody was working remote. Like, granted, mental health started going down, but it's like I think people should have that option. Like, I want to work fully remote, and as long as I hit these metrics and doing what I need to be doing, leave me the fuck alone.
I can tell you what it is. So I'm a government worker as well, and yeah, you're right. Them benefits, even though they might look nice, but they do take a lot out of our paycheck. But the reason why they want everybody to go back into work is because they got contracts on them government buildings.
Exactly,
still.
that's exactly
So
what it is.
They don't want to lose out on their money or their investment, essentially.
I mean, but if let's say that you gotta come in 1 to 2 days a week, you still in that motherfucker, right? Like, the building is still being used, no matter if it's being used the entire time or if it's just being used like a WeWork type situation. The building's still being in use.
It goes deeper than that though, because then you got the economy. So you got the local store that they go for lunch, and now they only going in once a week, twice a week. Then they go out of business
So
because they don't have enough money to.
Muriel Bowser
It's like a
fucking
whole
shit up,
domino
bro.
effect. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say Muriel Bowser because this is like a nationwide issue.
correct. Yeah.
Because there's a housing shortage as well. So a lot of these cities are going to try to make these office buildings into apartments once that can be converted, because office space is being like obsolete right now. Like, people rather work from home, and so a lot of these office buildings are just sitting empty. But let's get back to Airbnb. So what made you specifically want to get into property management instead of just owning the properties for Airbnb?
When I got into Airbnb, my first property was my own house. Bought my first house in 2020 with my cousin. We was splitting it, and then I got into a relationship with my girl. We decided we needed our own spot, so I moved out, and then my cousin wanted to move out too. So I said, let's try to do this Airbnb thing. So we tried it, and it was tough because we started like in the slow season. We started like November, coming into the winter, and the winter is like the worst possible time, but we survived that. And then once we passed that, it was just running up. So we're like, I'm like, yo, I should try to get another one. And a lot of them would just do connections through people I know. Like they say, oh, you still doing Airbnb? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, I know somebody, or I have a property, or something along those lines, and it just kept rolling from there. And I kind of just honestly stumbled on it, really.
Okay.
Do you think people should start going into the peak season, during the peak season, or coming off the peak season?
So I personally think the best time to come is right before peak season starts.
Like now, type shit.
Exactly. Like if you can get in and have everything ready by March 1, that's probably literally the best time to get in.
What about you? What you think about that, Ron?
No, I agree. It's definitely market dependent. So depending on where you are, seasonality plays a big role. So DC is February. It's the slowest season in the DMV area for short-term rentals based on nightly rates and what you can sell nights for. But like Joe said, when you get in March 1st, you got the Cherry Blossom Festival in DC. It gets warm literally from this third week of March, really the second week of March. You can print money from March all the way to December.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah, December.
Did the camera go out? Did the beat go off?
Oh no.
I just said it. I noticed that. I won't show up the back.
There you go.
Yeah, so I would definitely start in the spring, right before the spring, and depending on your market. But yeah, that's the best time to start.
Okay. So you said it depends like market wise. So I'm assuming like in DC, like you said, DC February is you said it's like the most
Slowest, the slowest,
okay.
yep.
Okay.
I guess the question would then be like, how do you find a good market then?
You want to take that one?
Finding a good market is one of the hardest things to do.
What is a good market? In your
That's a good ass question.
terms?
A good market for me is somewhere that has affordable housing, but you can also get amazing daily rates on Airbnb. So, like in the DC area, it's tough because rent is very high. So your margins aren't that good. I know there's people like in Austin and Dallas, the prices over there is cheap, but they can also get huge high daily rates. So their ROI is like insane compared to like someone like here. So I think a good market is somewhere that, right now at least, is somewhere where you don't even think about. Like, for example, today I was looking at Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm like, yo, this market right here might be it for me. Like, this might be my next play because rent is dirt cheap out there, and the rates is pretty good. There's not a lot of competition. So a place you don't want to go right now is like Miami.
Okay.
Everyone's going to Miami, in the whole area.
My man just said the same thing about Tennessee. He said Tennessee got some crazy ass.
That
He
part.
actually, him and his girl just moved out that J&A, like running it up.
Yes.
So the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee and North Carolina is pretty popular.
Yes.
I was going to ask you. So, in terms of market, like a good market, let's kind of go towards both of y'all. Would you rather have like a steady, like a year-round market, or a market that have extreme highs but has a slow season as well? So, what would you prefer in terms of like a good market?
For me, don't really matter. As long as over the course of 12 months, it makes sense, I'll take it. You just have to know how to budget your money. Okay. You have to know you're going to have to hold on to some of that portion of that money in the peaks to survive the low season, opposed to if it's steady. Because if it's steady year-round, the occupancy is probably not as high. It's probably going to be lower, so you're not going to get booked out all the time. At least in my opinion. This guy's right here is the master, so he can probably get booked out anytime, any place.
I mean, so with me, like, I go based on the data, right? And in today's society, data is more valuable than gold. And like, it's dope for like a year-round market like Orlando, Florida. Disney World never going nowhere, right? But the competition is probably so crazy, and everybody has Disney-themed Airbnbs, right? So with me, I want a market where the numbers make sense. I'm a numbers guy. So even if it's a Kansas City, Missouri, and we know the Chiefs probably gonna win like the next 3-4 Super Bowls, right? It will be advantageous to try to find a property somewhere near that downtown area, wherever their stadium is, right? But I also know it gets cold in Missouri, right? So you have most people in colder climates, they travel to warmer destinations in the wintertime, right? So I would like a year-round market because, you know, people travel to Florida, California, things like that. Arizona all year round. But the math has to make sense. So let me give you guys an example. Let's talk about beach towns, right? So I manage a property in Neptune, New Jersey. I met some lady on Facebook. She had a property. She was doing $1,000 a night. She knew nothing about Airbnb. She flew me out from DC and to see her house and showed me the Jersey Shore. It's 10 minutes away from Jersey Shore. Only thing I know about Jersey Shore is a show that used to come on MTV, right? When I added my sauce to her profile and her property, that sounded wild. Her property.
Did you add?
Her property. Maximum. Her property went from $1,000 a night with her having no automations to $2,600 a night. And I'm like, okay, the same effort I'm managing this 3-bedroom in DC as a co-host, and I'm getting 15-20%. I might make $300 on a booking on a weekend. I could go manage this lady property and get $300 in one night off 10% being remote. So it just got me starting to think differently. Like you see people, oh, I make $1,000 a night on Airbnb. Nah, they capping. No, you got the right house in the right market. Another example, beach towns, Ocean City, Maryland, right? I'm actually driving Ocean City in the morning, and my family has a property that they're turning into an Airbnb, and they want me to run it. They gave me the keys, said, Ron, go do your thing. I had a client who lives in Salisbury, which is like 10, 15 minutes from Ocean City, and he told me a year and a half ago, you can make 50 racks in the summer in Ocean City. But the thing about it, it's cold in the wintertime, but in the summertime with that demand and that type of, there's not that many black people in Ocean City. I've been going to Ocean City every year, pretty much 20 out of 30 years of my life. Not too many of us there, but these people have that disposable income, right? In Jersey, people are coming up from New York, that New York bread, right? Ocean City, I don't know where they're coming from, but they got money to spend, and you're competing with the hotels. So,
like Delaware.
Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, all that. Like, so in my opinion, I want to find that house by using like software to run the address and say, oh shit, this house can do $30K in a month. Like when I ran the lady's address in Neptune, New Jersey, it said that she would make $160,000 a year on AirDNA.
Wow.
And I just said 10%, 16 racks divided by 12. That's $1,500 a month. She'll pay my rent. Hey, book the flight. I'm on my way. So it's like that's how I'm thinking of it now. The market, it's about the house and what's around it.
So I used to hear something where it's like the benchmark or the baseline is like $1,100 profit per bedroom. Is that still typical average in this market that we're in now?
Per bedroom?
Yeah. Or is that too high?
Nah, a profit. I mean, it all depends. So, like, let me give another example. And I want to talk to you about this with your Airbnb. So, I went to Baltimore this week. I got a guy, he has a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom in Baltimore. I met him on Facebook. And I signed him this week. I signed him last week, went to go meet him. And he does 4 private rooms. Everybody has their own bathroom, their own bedroom, right? He had no idea what he was doing. He just put $35 a night for the queen, 40 for the king, and then 30 for the twin, right? When I ran the AirDNA numbers for his whole house, it said he would only make $2,200 a month, and his occupancy was 27%.
Damn.
He told me right now he's making double than that with private rooms. And now I just threw the automations on there. And I'm showing him, hey, look, Brian, May, your $35 room about to go for $70 because there's something going on in Baltimore this weekend.
Right.
And his eyes lit up. So, like, I think it all is based on how you market your property. You could bust. I'm looking at it as like it's like legal hustling. You bust down the property. Instead of selling one house, you sell 4 doors. And I want to actually take a look at your property and see how that can work with your property if you ever want to pivot.
I got 4 too, so you would just do.
You can share bathrooms.
Yeah, because the basement is the 1 bed, 1 bath down there.
So you could bust your house into 2 if you got a private entrance.
Hey, I'm interested in you taking a look at my house as well. Honestly, if I'm being real with you.
I mean, not for
or
real.
Jovan.
We all get money together. Like, it's just like, that, I mean, I'm starting to think different now. Like, there's something called pad split where they'll come in your house and they'll put up fake walls all in your house and somebody will live in the living room. Yeah. And then the bam will live in the basement and like upstairs, and now you just turn your 3-bedroom to a 6-bedroom and they may charge each of them $1,000 a month. You're making 6 racks and your mortgage $2K.
What could happen is the guy I just sent you today with the cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
the handyman. One door could then separate the top level from the bottom level, and then you throw in a counter, a hot pot, like a hot
Kitchenette.
plate, right? A hot plate and an air fryer, and that's what most people need,
Or microwave.
and a microwave, right? You get one counter and you put all those 3 appliances on there, and it's not a legal unit, but it's still something that it's like a den basically. So what we were talking about is in this scenario, I got a 2-level house where it's like, all right, could put the house up on as one unit, like you said, link up the iCal calendars. The house is one unit, the downstairs is one unit, and the upstairs is one unit. That's 3 separate units. But then, like you said, now separate and say, all right, each room is now its own separate unit.
You just turn your 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom into 1, 2, 3, 7 listings.
God damn.
Digital real estate.
7
listings.
And
Right.
you sync them all, so if one books,
Everything blocks.
Everything else
out.
blocks off. Yo.
now what? If let's say if one person books one room, would you want it blocking out everything else though?
No,
You would have to block out.
it would
The
only
entire-
block out
The
the
entire.
other 3 rooms would still be available.
Yeah,
It
the
should
rooms will be available, but the
But
entire
the house
apartment.
and the basement would.
Yeah, as an entire
So
stay.
if one person booked out one room on the top level, the bottom level is still available,
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's his own separate
and
listing.
then the other 2 rooms are still available, but not the whole.
Not the
top
whole
level.
house.
Right.
Or the whole top level, yeah. So it'll automatically block out the calendar. So you can essentially have, if you got 3 bedrooms upstairs, 3 private rooms booked, and then you can have your anchor. That's what I like to call it in your basement. And that person paying that 1-1 with their own space, then you can charge them a premium. Whether you find a traveling nurse, you probably close to BWI, you find a pilot or somebody like something like that, and then they're your anchor, or somebody booked long term in the basement.
Yeah, so like we were saying, it's like you turn one listing into 7, but you're maximizing because now it's like some people don't need the full place. Some people just need a room. Some people just need a bed. Some people need the level.
Yeah.
Like you're literally maximizing every possible inch of a house. And I don't think that that's something that people are doing. That's Joe. You on some shit, and together y'all on some shit that it's like I don't think people are really doing. It's going to
Hell
revolutionize
no.
even
It's
Airbnb.
my first time hearing about this shit.
My first time hearing about it as well.
You know
no.
why it's so dope?
It's y'all first time hearing about this shit.
You know why it's the first time we hearing about it? Because affordable housing is a serious problem.
Yeah.
When in our lifetimes have we heard them talking about transforming commercial buildings into housing? They just did it in Baltimore. The mayor of Baltimore this week just
what's crazy?
converted a commercial building into affordable housing for homeless people.
You know what's crazy? That building, I walked with Tony. He was about to buy that joint, and they did some bullshit, and like they pulled funding from something, and he's just like, bro, it's like I don't know if it's even worth it now because they're supposed to develop this big ass lot next to it, and like build it up like for commercial shit, and the numbers fell through, and he's like, nah, it's just not gonna work. He sent me that building, like the IG thing. I was like, oh shit.
See?
That's
Politics.
That's something every
That's
major
politics.
city doing though, because like the FBI building is about to be converted into housing.
Here?
Yes.
I mean, but that ain't old as shit anyway.
it's
But
gonna be
shit,
converted. It's
Yeah,
going
they
to
should
be-
have been
GSA.
did that.
This is a GSA building, the old GSA building. This was
yeah.
converted.
That's crazy.
This?
Yeah.
'Cause my mom,
I was wondering why everything looks so industrial. I'm like, why? I told my girl, I said, hey, they finessing us with this rent and the damn roof not even finished. So that's, I didn't know
because
that.
my mom was like, yo, this. She's like, I know this building. This is a GSA building, and I was like, I don't know. And it went over my head, but then it's like you said, like old buildings that are just like people just like I ain't really fucking with this. We need bigger, better, newer and shit. Because like this whole area is like government. Like the patent office is right. My old
Water
job
across the street.
is right down the street. Like Arlington is all government shit. Like this is government contracting central. And then I want to pivot because Ron, you were talking about how to really, really maximize by doing government contracting with Airbnb or short-term rental, midterm rental.
Yeah, I can speak to it. So I went to the short-term rental wealth conference in Nashville a few weeks ago to learn, right? And something, since I work for DC government, I oversee contracts. I've always been intrigued with government contracting. And I came across some guys that basically get federal government contracts for short-term rentals. I don't know all the details. I've been doing my research. But basically what you do is, let's say like let's say the Department of Defense, right? We all know we at war right now. There's probably some stuff going on behind the scenes we don't know. Let's say DC needs to fly in 50 fighter jet pilots, right? From all over the country, right? And they need to fly them in for basic training, and they need to be housed in DC. And they need to be close to Quantico. They need to be close to DC, right? They need somewhere to live, right? They're not going to put them in residential housing. There's not that much inventory, right? So they rely on the public business and private business like us to go and supply these needs for them, right? And it's the way they broke it down. It's as simple as coming to a property manager in a building like this, a luxury apartment building, and say, hey, I just won this government contract for, the guy won a $7.5 million federal government contract. But let's say it's a meal for easy numbers, right? You get a meal, you come here, negotiate with the property manager, hey, I need 50 units in your building. I need 50 corporate leases. What's the best rent that you can give me, right? Let's say if rent's here $2,000 a night, let's say $3,000 for easy numbers, right? A month. My bad, yeah. So that's Airbnb day. Yeah. All right, easy numbers. Yeah, easy numbers. Yeah. All right, so easy numbers so everybody can follow me. Let's say in this building rent's $3,000 a month, right? So that means we negotiated $100 per night for each door, right? Let's say the GSA rate in DC is $150 per night, right? That means there's a $50 spread left over for every night sold. So if you do 50 times 30, that's $1,500, right? So in essence, if you win that contract, you can make $1,500 a night times 50 doors
75.
times 30 days. Did you do that part? 50 a night
50 a night
times 50 doors times 30 days.
35.
Yeah.
So yeah, you profiting 75 racks a month
Damn.
off a government contract.
This a year.
And you touching $900K a year.
So the amount, like you said, the mill that was awarded, you're basically making that a year.
And then they're fronting you the bread. You're not coming here and negotiating like you're trying to do Airbnb. You're like, look, I won this proposal. This is my government contract. What you trying to do? Who doesn't? That property manager downstairs gets paid a commission every time he sells a room here, right? So just think about it. If you're making $75K a month, I'm never going to work again.
Niggas making that a year.
A year.
And
yeah.
you could prepay that whole year and be done with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's gonna be cheaper too.
And hire
so that's more
somebody
money
to
in your
replace
pocket.
you. The guy told me like one of the stipulations in the contract was to actually someone had to live on the property and someone had to be here to assist the government workers with anything they may need. And he said, you know what I did, bro? I hired somebody, I paid them a yearly salary, and I pay for their apartment, and they live there, and their job is to stay on the premises and be my liaison.
That's a great deal.
Hold
If
on.
I'm making 75 racks, I'll throw you.
Wait, because I
40,
do
50.
got another question though.
Yeah.
So, damn, I'm loving this episode. Y'all might make me get into fucking real estate and shit. Hey, so property management or property investing or owning, what would y'all be? What would y'all both say would be like y'all number one suggestion if you're looking to get into the game?
For Airbnb, short term, mid term.
I guess if you're starting off, that's a tough question. I mean, because there's so many ways to get it. It depends on. I would say co-hosting is easy to get into. It's low risk. Because you're not putting up any of your money. You're doing what he does. He finds people who needs help, and you have a skill that you can help someone raise up their property and make it better. You're helping them out, and you're getting paid in return. So it requires nothing out of you.
Saying you're not leveraging debt as well.
Exactly. If you get into rental arbitrage, which is more or less what I do, I have to front a lot of the money up myself. So it's a lot more risk, but you get more reward. So I only have 10 properties, but I could quit my job off of 10. Some guys quit their jobs after 5. And then of course, if you buy the house, that requires the most cash, but now you're secure. You don't have to worry about, oh man, my landlord's gonna cut the lease. You've got that property locked in and you have it for life. So technically your ROI is like infinity because you're getting money, you put in the money one time to furnish it, buy the house, and then it just keeps building up until either you sell the house or,
I think we hit on this on your episode as well. When I was like, yo, me personally, I always want to buy the property. I always want to own like the asset. That's just me personally, but I'm not in the business. So what did you say, Ron?
To answer your question, it's quasi. So the first thing, in my opinion, is capital, access to capital, right? Pretty sure none of us in here inherited any money from our peoples, right? But some people did. So if you have capital, if I had capital, I would go buy, right? Because I bought my first house and turned my basement to an Airbnb, and I see the benefits of my basement paying my mortgage. And even though I'm responsible for my mortgage and all expenses associated with it, the basement pays for the majority of that. So I'm winning. I'm getting equity put back into my house, OPM, other people's money. They're paying down my mortgage. My bills are getting paid by other people's money, and I'm profiting too, right? In terms of co-hosting, I think that's the lowest hanging fruit if you have that skill set. In a lot of instances, I'm profiting, if not around the same amount, maybe a few $100s less than the owner. And I don't even know what all their expenses are. I don't know what their startup costs were. I don't know what their Wi-Fi bill is. I don't know what security system they have. I just know how much money I generated for your property and what my percentage was. So I have a spreadsheet where I have the percentages of every, because it's a partnership, of every person's business that I have. And if it goes 15, 20, 10, 15, 15, I see my 100. But what I realized, okay, if I can get 5 people at 20%, I have my own pot. I have my own property, my own 100%. And for me, it's faster to scale that way because we don't get time back, right? And I mean, I've had a rental car business where I bought a car on a credit card, and now out the gate, I'm working out the red. So if anything happens to that car and it doesn't pay off that credit card, I lost, right? So it's just leveraging risk in what your financial situation is. And then investing, on the investing aspect, if you have capital or if you have the knowledge or skill set to partner with somebody who does have the capital to invest, you can leverage a partnership that way too. But my goal is to continue to co-host, and then now that I'm seeing these profits, to take that money and when the market, or if I find the right deal, to purchase my own or even arbitrage my own, because I'm now using the house's money to front my investments.
Yeah, I feel like we need to do like a workshop, man, like a networking workshop, like giving gems like between Ron, our guest Les, who does rehabs in Philadelphia and Baltimore City, MJ. You know, like we have a lot of dope content, a lot of game to give out. I think that would be dope.
You know what's crazy? Les is my right hand man.
You know what's crazy? He told me about that.
You know what's crazy? Les is the first person I met right before the pandemic started. They got me talking about this shit. I went to a networking event when I was trying to get into different spaces, and Les and his girlfriend hosted a networking event, and Les was up there talking about financial literacy and investing, and I said, bro, I want to be like you when I'm older.
You know what's ironic?
He
Les
became my man.
is holding an event tonight. We couldn't make it to it because
The little Valentine.
Yeah, you know.
It's a
It's
society.
tonight?
Yeah.
Society.
That was on 27th.
That's my guy. He
Tonight.
he put me on to so much game 3-4 years ago when I was raw, when I was just hungry.
Pause.
I knew it was
Oh my God, that's insane.
That did sound crazy though.
No, Holmes. This is the second time I had to say something like that on this podcast. Whoa. Okay, yeah, we go ahead and transition from that. That's crazy.
Nah, finish your quote.
I'm not even drinking Henny. That was insane. I'm drinking Gatorade. That was insane. But now, all in all, like, so Les, he just put me on to like life insurance and investing because he's in the military and he helps people with their investing and stuff like that. And it just changed my perspective. Like, I even got a life insurance policy from somebody named Brittany who was messing with. And it's like, when I saw him on y'all podcast, I said, damn, this nigga was downstairs. I wasn't even here, but everything's purposeful.
Exactly.
And MJ, I lie to y'all not, MJ is the first person to ever put me on the Airbnb. And when I say that, the day I met her at the gathering spot, she found out we was neighbors or lived in the same neighborhood, and I was saying I'm thinking about Airbnb in my house, and she like, my basement is killing, and she showed me her whole profile and how much money she made, and that was like the solidifying moment. Like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, bro. It's a full circle moment.
You want to know something about life insurance too? So I'm actually getting my license next week. But one of the reasons why I'm getting it and to help people out is y'all can understand it's TSP. A lot of people know, like, all right, after a certain amount of time or once you turn a certain age, you
What
can't.
is TSP? If you
It's basically your thrift savings plan, but it's like a retirement plan. It's a better version than a 401k because it's if you know how to separate your money into the different funds, you could get a lot of capital gain from it. But the only thing about it is it's because all the money that's going in is not taxed, and the government does match up to a certain amount. You taking that money out is going to get taxed like crazy. But a lot of people don't know, especially for retirement people, if you move that TSP or that 401k over into a life insurance policy, you could pull from it or you could borrow against it, and your money's going to keep growing for you, and it's not going to get taxed.
After the MEC limit, though.
What, you said after what?
hey, bro, talk to the mic.
After the MEC limit, because like you can only front load so much of that into the policy, right?
Well, if you transferring over from your TSP or your 401k to the policy, nah. But if I understand, like, if you like was to take out like $25K up front from your TSP and then like try to put that into a policy, it'd be different,
Because the IRS be like they be on it, like they know where people like trying to use that as almost like a savings account or the whole infinite banking thing. They're just like, nah, you can't front load too much because then it's like now you want a game of like how banks do it. And somebody pointed out that in every major city or all the major like big cities, the biggest building, what was that? Was that less?
I'm not for sure,
Nah.
but it does sound like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
like
remember
either a
that.
bank or an insurance company.
Yeah, a bank or an insurance company owns the biggest building in that jump because they get all policies and then they put it in the real estate.
Yeah.
And now they start making the real estate play money and stuff like that. So
All banks are owned
And
by
that's why they
insurance
got us going
companies.
back to work, because all these big buildings is people's life insurance sitting there and they're not
exactly.
getting no ROI.
Exactly.
It's like buying a car and not renting it. They still paying that mortgage on that building or that lease every month, so
Right.
that makes sense.
that's why I was like, nah, it don't make sense because the building's used, but then it's like I get it, like y'all said, it's like the local businesses and stuff like that are struggling. But I mean, times will change because like now people ain't working in factories. Jobs are already going more remote and going to AI and stuff. So it's like all it's doing is slowing down the inevitable. It's like where people we gonna have to work remote because if AI is taking jobs, what other jobs are there left? Like manual jobs, cool, but after that, you're more like engineering, overseeing, and management, and refining kind of thing.
Right.
I do want to get back into the Airbnb focus. You were saying, like in the market you're into, like in Florida. How do you juggle like the competition? Because in Florida there's a lot of competition between hotels, resorts. Like, how do you separate yourself to make yourself more attractive to guests?
That's a great question. So I'm in markets all over the country: New Jersey, Atlanta, California, North Carolina, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and I've been in a consulted or managed properties in a lot of other places, Tulum, Mexico. And what I realized was I've never been to 80% of these places, right? But what I realized was it's about market research and data. So like similar to what Alex was saying, there's so much AI, there's so much technology out here that finds the needles in the haystack for you. And what I realize, what I see on social media every day in these Facebook groups, there's a lot of hosts out here that have no idea what they're doing. And I say amateurs and pros, professionals, right? And if you put my listing up next to somebody else's and they say, yeah, I'm an Airbnb, I do all this. I'm like, yeah, what's your system? What automations do you have? And they be like, oh, well, I got my messages set up. And I'm like, I'm not talking about messages. I'm talking about, like, do you have an automated pricing strategy? Do you have an operations and turnover management system? Do you use AI to create your listings? Do you look into SEO, listing optimization, things like that? And when you start talking that shit to people and they have no idea what you're talking about, it's intriguing to them. But there are people who are way over me. Like you go direct bookings, you go midterm rentals, insurance contracts. Like it's people out here, government contracts. It's people out here killing it. But I think at the end of the day, it's digital real estate. People buy on three things online, no matter what you're shopping for: photos, price, and reviews. So if your photos trash, you don't have real estate photos, I'm shitting on you right there. If you don't have the right price because you're doing manual average, I had somebody tell me yesterday they're in a group and they told them to manually search their competitors, add up all their 90 rates and do an average. Why the hell am I doing that? And prices change every single day. The stock market change every day, right? And then marketing. How many customers can see your product, right? Only good dope is going to sell if people know about it, right? And if you only listed on one platform and you should be listed on 3 to 5, you're limiting your revenue potential. So like those are the things that I think give me a competitive advantage. And then like the people and processes and systems I have to run my business. I was running it like a hobby maybe the first year, and I realized the potential of it. And now like I'm building an empire. Like so I think that's the difference.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because you said it's about the systems. The first year, like when did it take for both of you guys to put into systems? Like did you put your systems in from day one, or like how long did it take for you to realize I need systems to grow this business? So this is for both of you.
Oh, I'll start off. Systems is super important. Like people really they'll start off at 1 and 2 and 3 and then realize, man, I should go and get a system. You got to start on day one because you start with the systems on day one. As you grow, it's super easy. Right. So when I had my first one, I was already looking for systems. Like now, from what he said, it's funny because when I met him the other day, he was pressing me, "Hey, what systems you use? What this system?" And I had answers for him.
He did.
I
He
had
was on
answers for
point.
him because I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I use all these." And even when I was doing Toro, I had systems in place for that because when you start to scale, it just helps out tremendously. So I recommend to anybody, day one, get those systems in place, research what you need, find what you like. There's so many different systems that do the same thing. You're going to have to find what you like.
I'm just not to step on your toes, but I concur exactly what you said because I had a Turo business as well. That went to shit. Because no systems were in place. Now we'll get to it eventually. I don't want to step on their toes. It's their episode. But yeah, man, like I feel that. So what about you?
So like I think you gotta be a student in the game. So when I first started, my first thing was how do I buy my house, and then I leveraged first time home buyer programs to buy my house. I bought a $423,000 house, and I only spent $3,700 out of my pocket to get it, and it was turnkey, ready to go. I leveraged my credit, and being a first time home buyer and purchasing in Washington D.C. and being a D.C. government employee, they gave me like $32,500, right? And then my main goal was always house hack. So when I bought that house, I wanted to make sure that it had a basement, right? There with a separate entrance with a shower. Right. So in terms of systems, after I got my contractor and they remodeled my basement, I just got straight to Facebook and YouTube, right? What are other people using? Once I realized, like, I'm not about to use smart pricing, or like, I think one of the first things I needed was a cleaner. How do I find a cleaner, right? And then I get to Googling, hey, just ask questions. People love talking, especially when they think they know what they're talking about, right? Hey, I just started Airbnb. Here's my listing. Can anyone... How do I find a cleaner? Somebody said Turno.com. I still use Turno.com to this day because I can find a cleaner anywhere in the United States like that using Turno, right? That's a system. And what's beautiful about it, it actually has automations built inside of it. Once I add a cleaner to my team, I accept their bid. When I get a booking, they get a notification. They accept the job, whether it's in September or it's tomorrow, I know that it's covered. When they start, they clock in. When they end, they clock in, right? I can manage my inventory, stuff like that. So now I'm not manually, hey, you available to work next week? Hey, can you do something tomorrow? And it's like, that was one of the first systems that I learned. And I was like, what other systems? Oh, Smart Lock. Okay, Smart Lock, so I can be out the country and change my code. Like, so you gotta have systems in place in any business, no matter what you're doing, right? And I think working for the DC government helped me realize that because I worked there, I was a senior data analyst, I managed systems and databases, I oversee contracts, and I realized so many of these damn skills are transferable. Even though I hate going there every fucking day, but you learn subconsciously. And then also, like you guys said, prior businesses. I had a Turo business where I had like 5-6 cars, right? I had a credit repair business, right, where I leveraged VAs and I had systems and automations and funnels and all of that stuff. So a lot of this stuff is nothing new under the sun. Everything's transferable. So but yeah, you gotta spend time with it, do your research. Like Joe was just showing me as soon as he came in. Look at this new software I found out. It shows you where you rank and all of that. I ain't know shit about it, but I definitely said, let me put this in my phone and check it out later. Because like that's where the world is now. There's systems out here that think for us, right? You don't have to work hard anymore. You just gotta work smart.
That's it.
Yo, that's dope. That's dope. I think a lot of people don't use that internal thing they have at their job. Like their job is a system in itself. A lot of people don't recognize that there's things you could be learning from your job that could prepare you for your business. Yeah, I have any questions? Because I don't want to just pause hog the
Joe, did you have something to say? Okay. Yeah, no, like that's a good point. Where it's like, Ron, I think you brought up the point like the 9 to 5preneur, right? Where in order for you to be a good entrepreneur, you gotta be a good employee first.
That's true.
Because you gotta see how the systems work, how from the ground level up, from the sea level down. You gotta be able to see the different dynamics, how different people play into one another. And it's like, all right, if I have a bad employee or a shitty employee who don't really give a damn about like what they got going on, they're gonna treat the customer and the service that's gonna be provided same thing. So and it transfers over to, like you said, the Airbnb. If your cleaner is treating this shit like a part-time job, like I had a cleaner where it was just her and her little son, right, 8 years old. And the results showed. I would go back in and double check their work. Dishes is dirty. Some of the sheets is dirty. Got stains on it and stuff. I'm like, yo, you got.
What are they doing?
But not being a business, right? And they're treating it like a lot of times we treat things as a side hustle. Where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this until I get money, and then hopefully that'll pay off, and right? But then like the quality and the efforts are sacrificed, and now it's like you get frustrated because you're like, well, why is this not making enough money to get me out of my job? Well, it's like you're not putting in the same 40 hours that you put into your job. You got to be putting in 30, 40, 60 hours into your business to get out of that shit.
Yeah.
That's dope. Makes sense. All right, let me ask. You guys talk about systems, the importance of it. Do you guys have any recommendations for someone who's just getting into the Airbnb or Turo business, or any of these like sharing business? Like you guys have any recommendations on sites or apps to use to create your systems?
For me, I use a software called Hospitable. Okay. And what that can do is I use it for messaging. So Airbnb, you can send out messaging, automatic messages as well, but Hospitable takes it a step further. So I can send out automatic messages to the guests, but I can also set up where I send out automatic messages to my cleaners. So let's say right now I get a booking. I have it set 3 minutes from now. It goes out to the guests. Hey, thank you for booking. Just to confirm, these are your times. These are your dates. We'll send you check-in instructions in the future. Also, at the same time, a message is going to my cleaners and saying, hey, new reservation just came in. Here's your address. Here's the date and time. And that way they know. So I don't have to text them to say anything. Hospitable also does, you can look at metrics. It has a good calendar on there so you can see if you have multiple properties. You can see, instead of seeing the 30-day calendar, you see it it's called a multi-calendar. Airbnb kind of has it too, but this one's even better. You can see all your properties at once, and then you can identify quickly what's open, and then you can kind of see, okay, I need to get this date filled. I want these dates filled. So Hospitable is my main one. I use a software called Clearing, which is not really well known, but it's for financials. So it's for people who's in the management space. You can send out statements to your homeowners. So the way I do my business is I collect the money up front and then I distribute it to the homeowners. So it sends out a statement and it makes it look professional. I don't even have to say the amount. Once it spits out the statement and knows how much it gives to the homeowner, it already puts my percentage in there. So it deducts it from that, and then I just say, hey, send it to this person. It automatically generates an email from the statement with the same amount, and then sends the payment out to them as well. Mm-hmm. So
let it be transparent.
Exactly.
Is it collecting the funds, or how's it?
It also is my bank. So all my money goes in there, and you can create an unlimited amount of sub accounts.
Yeah.
So now each one of my properties has multiple accounts. 'Cause you got an operating account, a savings account, emergency account. So you can have an unlimited amount, and then it'll just pull from wherever you tell it to, and then send it right to the homeowner.
Is that only for Airbnb or is that something?
No, it's
Nah,
I mean, it's set up primarily for Airbnb because you connect it to the other softwares. But you can just use it as a tool if you really
Like I
want
said,
to.
I could utilize that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fire for me.
Yeah, it's a cool program. And the third one, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, is Price Labs. That one, so Airbnb has its own smart pricing tool, but it's trash. Price Labs gives it super detailed. Like they need to make a certificate program for that thing because it goes so in detail. And I just had to go on YouTube and just kind of self-learn and play around with settings, because the detail of pricing in itself is like that's a full-time job.
Y'all got me thinking because like I wonder if there's something for like Turo.
Yeah, I'm not even. I got out of the game before it got to that
Yeah, I
level.
think
You know, it's
was
crazy
car
when you
seat.
saying you was getting out the game. That's when I was getting in the game.
For Toro
Yes.
in 2022.
Oh yeah.
What a time.
No, actually, you know what? It was 21. I got it.
Okay, yeah,
it was
that's when I went in heavy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because the cars were actually cheap then.
Yeah.
And then I just saw them going up and up and up, and I had two Teslas. I had a Ford Mustang Mach-E, the electric truck.
I had 10 cars, bro.
I think that's right around the time I followed you because I was like, who is this dude with all these cars?
Yeah, I had like 4 or 5, and then in 2022, I was like, there's no way. It's kind of like he said about the stock market. Everything is like the stock market in my eyes. So I'm like, yo, there's no way cars should be this expensive for this long. I have to get out. There's leaving money on the table if I stay in, because now the car's getting depreciated and it just don't make sense. So I got out in 2022.
Which I thought like that. But go ahead, what about you, Ron?
What you about to say,
Any,
I use those systems. I use Spittable, like Joe was saying. It's pretty much a channel manager. One thing that it does that I like, it allows you to list on multiple platforms at once. So Booking.com, which actually sucks, but you get great international leads from there. But it's a lot of scammers on there. VRBO, Airbnb, and I think they just added Google Vacations on there,
They did, yeah.
which I want to tap into because people Google anything first. So I use that as my main hub. Log in. It's like my master channel. It controls all my pricing. It syncs with Price Labs, messages my cleaners, all my guests, all my automations. There's AI in it as well. I use Price Labs. My first year on Airbnb, I had Price Labs, but I was just paying $20 a month for it, and I didn't know how to use it. Or I thought I knew how I was using it. And then I actually came across some people that used to work for the company, and they knew all about it. And these guys, they pretty much know how to read nightly hotel data like people who day trade stocks for a living. So I employed them, and it's like a revenue management finance team. So I do a mix of like employing people and systems, and then I create processes to manage them.
That's like government
I'm
shit.
looking for accounting software. I actually just found one, and I'll tell you about it. I can't think of the name, but this accounting software, because my niche is co-hosting, I can't use clearing because I have a mix of properties 100% under my account, and I collect all the money. And then I have percentage where I have clients who already had Airbnb accounts. I'm the co-host, and I just get splits. And right now, clearing only has the capability to do all those functions if everything's coming out of my account. But they told me it's coming soon. Price Labs is the most important tool in my business. The reason being is because I ask people all the time that's in Airbnb, what do you sell? I asked the guy this today. He has 3 properties, one in the Poconos, one in Costa Rica, and one in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in a cabin. And he said, I sell experience, I sell value. And I said, at the end of the day, everybody sells nights. That's all we sell. I don't care what your property look like. I don't care what the amenities has. If it's not priced right, it's not going to sell. So every last person should invest in some type of pricing automation software. It doesn't have to be Price Labs. They have Wheelhouse, Beyond Pricing. Just do your own research. Like Joe was saying, a lot of them have all of the same bells and whistles. Just some of them are cheaper and have different things. And I guess the last system that I like, and it's not a system, it's a system I created, is just like leveraging virtual assistants in other markets. they are amazing when it comes to attention to detail. They're task oriented. They're focused, and they're hungry. Right. A lot of them work really hard, and because we live in America, our dollars go way further overseas. Right. And it's not like we're paying them slave wages. We're actually paying them money that is paying them more than what they would have as a 9 to 5 at their job, right? We're giving them consistent income. We're putting food on their family's table, right? I literally had my VA reach out to me, said her mom fell down and fractured her leg, and she asked me, "You're the only person that can help me." She needed $300. She sent me her mom's leg, and I'm like, this could be a scam. No, I trust her. She's been working with me. It's midnight. She reached out to me, and I sent her the money, right? And like when you build relationships with people, people are loyal to you and they do good by you. So I actually employ virtual assistants to oversee those systems and oversee those processes. Like, let's create this SOP, and when this happens, this is what you refer to. So I like building relationships with people, not only my owners and investors, but also my staff. And then I leverage systems as well. And if I don't have the time to go learn a system, I will pay them, this week, I want you to learn this system. Here's all the how-to guys. I want you to set it up. I'll pay you a bonus of the project, and I'll pay you an hourly rate. And it's like, now I'm buying back my time. That's all I care about, because you can always make more money, but you can't get more time.
And you gave them an incentive to learn it.
Yeah, you get hourly rate, guaranteed weekly pay with bonuses and commission. And I can always think of something for them to do that I don't feel like doing.
What does that pay structure look like? Because I've had the virtual assistant that you also put me on to, and when you try to like pay them, like, all right, is the work going to get done, or is it going to get drug out where they like start milking the hourly rate? I'm not saying that he did it, but I'm saying like to avoid that.
Great question. So what I do is, and I have a bunch of virtual assistants with a lot of my older businesses too, like credit and all that stuff, right? So I got hip to their games, right? I've had multiple virtual assistants, good ones, bad ones, ones that play the system. But what I realized was, you don't go to your employer and tell them, I want to get paid this much. I mean, you may try to negotiate, but I can't go to my job and be like, you know what? I want $60 an hour this week. So, or I want to work 50 hours instead of 40, no overtime, right? So what I do is I put them on caps based on what I think they need to do. I go look up how much it costs for them to, what's their rent in their city, right? Wherever they're from, right? How much milk, groceries, health, all that stuff costs, right? So to answer your question, I give them daily, hourly caps with hourly minimum rates, and I'll pay you Monday through Friday. So an example, let's say the going rate in the Philippines is $3 an hour, right? That might sound insane, but if you go to Philippines with your U.S. money, you'll never come back to the U.S. probably. I'm gonna go try it, right? But if I tell you I'll pay you $30 a week, I'll give you bonuses, and I just need you to work 2 hours a day. There's gonna be a point that I'm gonna need them full time. Can I afford $50 a week? Yeah, but I don't have $50 worth of work for them to do, right? So I have them work cap hours. So like I have a virtual assistant, I pay her $30 an hour, $30 a week. That's $120 a month, right? But I have another virtual assistant that may work for me for the whole month, and I might pay him $350 a month, right? And the beautiful thing about it, I'm not their only client, right? I'm not your only source of income, right? A lot of things that I have you do, you could do part-time on your iPhone while you working your other job, right? So I incentivize them with that guaranteed monthly pay, and because they may have 10 other people like me, they may manage 100 properties, right, in their company. I'm just another stream of income to them, right? And all I do is exchange value for value. So it's way easier and more efficient for me doing this part-time and do it that way.
Okay. Got any more questions?
This is amazing.
Yeah, we locked in.
So I got one more question. Are you guys taking on any more clients, like for people who want to reach out, and how can they reach out to you guys if they want to work with you guys?
Y'all can follow me on Instagram, wavy_stay. I gotta drop the S and I'm gonna rebrand. But wavy_stay, or follow me on TikTok, Dr. DOCTOR_financial. I'm an open book, as y'all can see. And if, my motto is, how can we get money together? I'm big on collaboration over competition. And yeah, let's run it up.
What about you?
I guess Instagram's the best way to find me. You can find me at Rent with Jovan. That's Jovan. A lot of people spell that wrong, but yeah, you see me. You'll see my content on my IG. Just the listings that I got. I am taking investors as well because I'm getting to the point where I'm running out of capital to fund it myself. So I'm actively looking for investors. So as I grow, investors grow with me. So that's where I'm at.
All right, that's dope. You want to close this out?
I should.
Yeah, Mr. Quote, man.
I ain't got quotes today. This joint was crazy, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like y'all said, just understanding systems in place to allow you to scale. You don't have to be working all the time. You can have somebody working while you sleep. Philippines is complete opposite end of the world from us, right? And their money is not, it doesn't go as far as ours. And so when you can take that money from other people, like the investors that you're talking about, where they're paying top dollar, this person that you were saying was making $1,000 a night and now making $2,600 a night. And you only got to take 300 of that, right, a month. And this person is now able to go find other people to get you that same profit margin. That's how you turn OPA to OPM.
All right, thank y'all for checking out another episode. Peace. Dope. What you say, cuz?
Oh, nah, I said they fool. This nigga still.
Man, 100 racks. And the people was like, damn, I'm about to start telling my stories on